Hello and welcome to my latest journal. I haven't been filming for a while, so you've probably noticed that, but I have been creating, so I've got about 10 journals that I'll hopefully get filmed in the next week or so and get them uploaded, and you can see what I've been up to. So this one I've made for myself. I wanted a journal that I can record some gardening ideas, landscaping ideas and different things like that for myself. So I've just used a cover off an old New Zealand yearbook. I love the pictures on it, and I've popped that on the back as well. The edge here where I've cut it, I've just used some decorative paper to cover the edge so it doesn't look quite so cut off. And like all my journals, it has lots of wee bits and pieces sticking out the sides and some charms on the edge, which this one's just a leather keyring that I picked up while I was travelling, and some piece of old necklace there, and coil bound. So as usual, I've used the brad fastening and the hair tie for the closure, and again the pen spring underneath the brad to give it lift so that you can pop the tie behind it. Let's have a look inside. As with all my journals, and I say this every time, I very rarely use the first page, so I tend to keep it sort of a little bit decorative so that I don't feel intimidated by it, and I can just start wherever I want to in the journal. So, right, so this one was a page out of an old book, a tag off a pair of shoes that I bought, and I've just used it to make some notes on the back. I have started using this one, so you'll see some bits from time to time. A piece of a paper bag that I've actually just cut up and left the nice zigzag edge there. Some images that I've started using. Old piece of wrapping paper, internet image. In some magazines you get free scrapbooking paper which does have prints on the back, so that's what this is. And a tab off a tea bag, to which I've just popped a wee charm on the string. A piece of fax roll paper. You can generally pick this up at recycling centres for next to nothing because nobody's using it anymore, and it's a really nice paper. It's got a beautiful sheen and nice feel, so I do use that. And I've just popped some extra paper down the side to reinforce it because it is quite light and it does tend to curl. Just checking I'm still in frame. Yes, right. Free bookmark out of a magazine, and to cover up the writing I've just used some decorative duct tape. An envelope I was sent, which is very beautiful, so I've just kept that and popped a postcard inside that I can write on the back. This is a piece of an old gift bag that I've just cut down, and a little paper bag there which I've just turned into a pocket and popped some tabs inside there. Washi tape to cover up the join in the bag. Decorative vellum which I've just put a tab on top. An old journal page and a piece of, I think, a soap box. Little dimensional butterfly to add interest. This one, yes, and a really old envelope. It's a strange window envelope. It's got the window at the bottom with a little bit of it curved around the back, so I'm not entirely sure how they use those, but I've just used it as a pocket. Onion writing paper. It's the old style paper that I absolutely adore. It's got a beautiful feel to it and quite hard to get now. So I've got a wee pad of that I use, and I've just reinforced the edge with washi tape because it is quite fine. Some scrapbooking paper. This I picked up at the recycling centre. It was a pack of, I guess, not fortune telling cards. You draw one and it tells your fate or whatever, and they're all to do with love, so hence the heart shaped, but I just like the back, so I've covered the other side. Scrapbooking paper with some silk fabric just stapled on as a tab. An old page from an old journal I had, and just washi tape to cover some of the text because there's a little much. Another piece of the paper bag. This came with, I think it was an old chainsaw or something, and it had some notes in it, so I just cut it down a little bit and popped a tab and a tag in there. When you buy like cosmetics or something like that, they quite often come in these lovely packets with all this beautiful imagery on them, so that's a wee piece of that. More brown paper bag. This is quite heavy. It's one of the old grocery style bags. A piece of acetate, which I've done an internet image of this lovely flamingo. Page out of a book, Hunter of Butterflies, fitted with the gardening theme. Scrapbook and paper, which I've made a tuck spot, and actually no idea where I got that. This came out of a business card holder, so I can just slot some images or seed packets or whatever I want in there. Tissue paper from a box of shoes. This is the envelope that comes with a lot of postal declarations, so I've just cut it down and popped a postcard in there. Another paper bag with a wee tab in there, and I've folded up the bottom to make a little pocket there, and just some washi to cover up the seam in the bag. Over here, when you buy a lotto ticket at special occasions like Christmas, or in particular Father's Day, which I think this one's from, you get these beautiful presentation folders. So I've got one of those. I've left it plain, but as I use the journal, I'll cover it. So it's got a nice wee pocket there, and another one that I've made from an ice cream cone cover on the back there. A wrapper from a cake of soap, tissue paper, page out of a little gardening book that I've just stapled a tab to, a beautiful little owl swing tag that I've just popped in there, some more decorative vellum. This was from an old teacher's register from probably the early 70s, late 60s. Another page from a journal, and this is a vintage cigarette card that I quite liked. Vintage writing paper. Paper bag from the supermarket that you purchase mushrooms in, and I just cut it in half and just turned it into two separate pockets. And this one's from an old photo album. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's got a spiderweb pattern on it. It's very, very nice. An old children's storybook on Woody Woodpecker. More old writing paper. Another children's story. I love hedgehogs, so I had to go in. And the back of it had more text here, but I've just covered that piece with a piece of coordinated scrap paper. More scrap paper there. Decorative paper clip. Some washi just to add, not washi, masking thingies. Another page from an old diary, which I've just popped a pocket in there to cover up the text, and a wee tab again off a pair of shoes. Washi tape, bulldog clip that I've popped a wee charm on. This was, I think, from a plant, not in my garden. I don't do roses. These are just plain tags that I had, and I've just stamped vegetable names on them because it just coordinates nicely with the image from the old book. More of that free paper and magazines. Packaging that came with something that I bought, so I've just used that. Vellum, more wrapping paper. This was, I think, advertising for insurance or something like that. It was some junk mail that came anyway. I loved the shape of the thing, so I've just covered the whole lot in scrapbooking paper, and I'll just use that to pop wee pieces in. And I've extended it out just by popping an extra strip on the side so that the binding didn't interfere with the little booklet. More fax paper, tissue paper, old journal pages, and I've popped them back to front and just put some more silk fabric through and just staggered it. And in this one I've added an eyelet because the hole got a little bit weak. A diary from 1966. More of the onion paper. Image from a magazine that I liked. Cute little owl paper bag, and I've made this wee tie on there so I can pop some little bits in there like seed packets or whatever I want. It's just got a playing card in there for now. More scrap something. This is again the heavy brown grocery bag, and I've just folded it and put a little intimate image on that side. No idea, but it's nice and it's thick and it's shiny. Another diary page, and I've just popped a dimensional butterfly there. Page from the book, the 66 diary, and this is the writings from the lady that actually owned it back in 66, and she's made little notes on what she's been doing in her garden and what she's been baking and preserving and different things, and it's quite lovely to have that as part of the book. More shoe packaging. This was part of a box of incense, so it makes the whole journal smell absolutely divine. And on the back it had something I wasn't too keen on, so I've just put more duct tape. An envelope that I've just cut down to make it a single page because I love the windows, I love the sound and the feel of them. I had a little bit of advertising there, so I've just covered it up. Page from a magazine. Children's storybook. This was, I think, about a late 60s newspaper. I just had some nice recipes on there. So an envelope that I haven't cut down, so I've got, put it around the right way, a postcard in there. Vintage writing paper, another children's storybook with a wee bulldog at the top, so I can just pop some wee bits under there. Another paper bag, and I've left this one folded over at the back to create a wee side pocket. And another page from the journal, and in the back I've just made a library pocket and a wee card which I got off the internet. So that's that one. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy my junky journals.